Mr. Speaker, I rise to highlight today an issue that is incredibly important. It's probably the #1 issue going on in my district today. And that is the whole issue of housing. Housing and the opportunity to own your own home, to provide a safe haven for your family, to build wealth. You see, owning your own home for almost everybody in our country is the first rung of the ladder of wealth creation. And yet today, that dream, and it is a dream for many of our citizens, particularly those in the Latino and minority communities, is just that, a dream. Latinos, like all Americans, are committed to building a better and stronger future for their families and for their communities. It starts by becoming a homeowner, to own a piece of America, to have a real stake in America. That is one of the reasons home ownership is so important. It's important because it creates wealth. As I said, the first rung on the ladder for people to have an investment. It creates social stability, creates a haven for the family, for family get-togethers. A home is really one of the most important assets for a family to have. And owning a home has far-reaching consequences in our economy for communities. This fall, I had the opportunity to be a keynote speaker at a bipartisan leadership forum on achieving the American dream, hosted by First American Financial Corporation, who is headquartered in my district. And I was joined by many of my colleagues, including Representative Loretta Sanchez, Representative Emanuel Cleaver, former Governor Luis Fortuno, industry leaders, and community activists. Because the decision to become a homeowner is one of the most important decisions, and commits a person, it commits a family. It commits us towards getting to the middle class. For people in the bottom 40% of annual income level, wealth creation is almost exclusively in home ownership. According to the National Association of Home Builders, the primary residence represents the largest asset category in our country, accounting for 30% of our nation's total assets. And the importance of home ownership is even greater for the middle class. 62% of the median home owner's assets and 42% of their total wealth lies in their home. Not to mention that access to home equity, being able to pull out some of that equity you've built up, provides families with financial stability when there are financial stresses going on in the family. It's an emergency fund in some cases, and it helps to start a business. It helps to fund college for our children. Home ownership is a key to creating stable, economically successful households and to provide security for existing and future generations. Households with wealth are able to weather financial shocks, increase upward economic mobility for themselves and for future generations. In fact, analysis provided by First American chief economist Mark Fleming highlighted home ownership trends based on household formation rates among Latino and African American communities. And the research identified the importance of home ownership-based wealth formation as the key to wealth creation for middle and low-income Americans. Providing Americans with equal opportunity to pursue that home ownership is a challenge. And it's very challenging in the Latino, African American, and other minority communities. You know, this last recession of 5 or 6 years, this really terrible, difficult recession for so many people, saw in the Latino community 2/3 66% of the wealth across our nation within the Latino community went away. So I hope that my colleagues will help us in building back to home ownership for all of our communities in America. And I yield back.